Welcome to...
This is why musicians need therapy.
Another concept I'd like to kind of just bring up briefly, though, is the idea, too, of pacing that they really kind of hammer home where I'm working now, is when a crowd is at 10, they will purposely bring them down.
Yeah.
For the sake of the longevity, for the sake of them not petering out too early.
They just do it with a ballad or a
ballad and here's a nice way to not kill the energy but not to make it go any higher, is a big long room bit, a big long like happy joy or something, people standing up, sitting down. There's this Mark DeWeese, one of the performers, has this great Dance of the Decades that he does.
Oh, nice.
He has it all the way back to graduating in 1960. I'm sure he has a 1950, but I mean, he's just never taken it back that far that I've seen him live. But he has a Beach Boys tune for the 60s. He's got a Bee Gees tune for the 70s. He has Mr. Roboto for the 80s, but he's got like a 90s. But he even does like, Soulja Boy, Crank That Soulja Boy, and he has like Whip and Nay Nay. Like he has all the way up until like if you graduated high school, like 3 years ago and you're 21, you're at the bar. So he has all the way like songs up through current Dance of the Decades, and then the best dancer comes up on the stage. He plays a little snippet of each, and all the people who are up there of all different ages dance to all the different songs. It's kind of like a big room kumbaya thing. But the bit in total, if it's run correctly on a Saturday night, takes just a tick under probably like 8 minutes. And so you've now held the crowd at a high energy. You haven't completely killed the room. You've killed 8 minutes of time, and you still have a bunch of leftover momentum that you can still kind of rekindle whenever you need to. With, I'm sure we all have songs that kind of like light a fire later at night. Like mine, like Bodies Hit the Floor kind of thing is like a easy one that people respond to. But that's kind of where they like the concept of don't continue to just kick them over and over and try to get them to go higher and higher and higher, because they really do desensitize to it. But the concept of pacing is very beneficial. I don't think it's possible to keep a crowd at 10 all night long. It just for 6 hours and get real.
Well, I like Tennessee whiskey and 4. That's what I think really brings the crowd down.
That does.
I'm sorry, I couldn't resist.
That could work. That could work. Or Zombie played with the chords in double time the first 2 times through before the vocals come in.
I used to really like that song. I really did.
I still like that song. I still like doing that song.
Well, that or Creep.
People will always sing Zombies. They will always sing that one.
Yep. No.
That one always gets a sing along. But yeah, I don't know. As far as pacing and bringing, I don't. I wouldn't be able to play at a 10, full physical exertion for a full show. That's you definitely have to give everyone a break, and then the bar has to make money too. So you got to give people time to, grab another round. I really like the idea of that dancing bit. That's kind of cool. I like that. But yeah, I think.
If you want to call me after, I'll walk you through it. I got some video of it too.
Yeah. That I'm always looking for stuff like that. But I always try and someone explained it to me one time as like thinking of it as like a tennis exchange, a volley, and as far as going back and forth with your whoever your partner, and so I always try and match the direction that I think they're going. I try and match genres if I can, or if they're taking a chance on something, then I make sure that I come in with something that is kind of a guarantee, and just kind of keep that the teamwork part going. It just doesn't work without that kind of mindset for sure. But
Well, Craig, you and I remember a lot of times at the club when you wouldn't be on stage, you'd be behind the sound booth, and there'd be a strange a selection of songs, and then I'd always look at you and you give me the same look, like, what are you doing? Why are you playing that song? And I think you and Eric had a pretty good grasp of that even at the time, although you couldn't really stop what your partner was going to do. But
yeah, it's like sometimes I mean, and look, it's often easier when you're the partner or you're off stage going, what the fuck are you guys doing? In fact, I remember because the guys that trained me, Sam, they themselves were ex-Pete's players as well, so probably a lot of overlap in philosophy. And the guy that trained me, we'd be on stage and you'd look at him, he'd be at the bar with his arms crossed, scowling at you, And you're like, this is not helping anything. And the people off stage also don't know what's going on stage. They don't know what requests you're dealing with. They don't know what pressure you have in terms of people that are coming up to you. We're about to leave. Why haven't you played my song yet? Or there's suddenly $50 came up. There's a lot going on. But I was doing at the show last night. Pink Pony Club came up, and I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be just a home run, And it was a theatre show, so tips weren't really a factor at all. So we tried to pace the show. You talk about pacing, Sam. This was like, okay, ramp it up to the end, finish with Piano Man, but we had total freedom of how to play in the show, and it had to flow really well. So round about, I don't know, the 3/4 mark, 80% mark of the show, I was like, I'll throw in Pink Pony Club. And I tried doing this bit with the lighting guy, can you turn the lights red? And it turns out the lighting guy had actually left during the intermission.
Just waiting there for no one.
So I'm like, oh God. And I'm like, I was telling Eric, I wish I had my wireless mic. I took the mic off the mic stand. I'm out front on the big stage. I'm like, what if I would say to the lighting guy, can I have a red light? I had this whole bit planned in my head. And then the lights didn't change. It's like,
don't let him see you fail, Craig.
That's right. Well, but then I was like, I'm just going to be self-aware about this. And I said, I probably should have rehearsed this bit with the lighting guy. I apologize. And then my whole thing was going to be like, but I kept going and we just ran with it. I was like, well, it would be great if the lights could turn pink for this next song. And everyone's kind of giggling. Anyway, and then I did the arpeggio, the 5/7 arpeggio, and launched into it, and nothing. There was I think there was maybe 2 12-year-olds that were singing Pink Pony Club. I'm like, oh shit! I was, I'd thought of this whole bit in my head, and then planned to ride the energy to the end of the show, and it just bombed.
That's some of the fun of playing live, though, is you get to test out some of your theories in real life. Like, will this work? Will they actually respond to this? And sometimes you get to fail in front of people live with no safety net, and that's kind of the thrill of it.
That's right. And what do you do with that?
You salvage it. You can't just.
But that's what I mean. And
that's it for me.
Good night, everybody.
See you later.
Well, and my point is, it's what you do with it that defines. Yeah, exactly.
And sometimes broken bits end up being something funny, and that's another aspect, because there's so much that goes into live. If you really want to dig into it and talk shop, there's a lot that it can be as simple or as complicated as you want to make it. But I do think that there is a lot of value. I know I'm directly contradicting myself. Don't let them see you fail. There's value in them seeing you fail. But on something like that is really there's some humor to it. There's some humility to it. There is a certain value into the concept of, hey, I'm literally just a dude like you. I make mistakes too. A little bit. Nobody is gonna pay in their seats and pay tips and be like, oh, I gave this guy $200 for my song. He butchered it, but he had a smile on my face, so I'm happy. I'm not exactly saying that. I would still be mad if I paid good money for my song, it wasn't played. That's not what I'm saying. But I am saying, on a bit, you didn't get any money for it. You tried something stupid. Nobody cared. You laugh at yourself. I think I feel like there's some like benefit there to like, oh, this guy doesn't take himself too seriously, or they can see that it's not just a plastic fake persona that you're putting on the stage, because there's like there's something attractive about authenticity on stage, I feel.
I'm sure we've all seen performers do this, like you said, the same singing commands, the same bits, the same set list, and I feel like the audience can tell.
It's funny that not music related, but comedy related. Your story, Craig, reminds me of. I've seen some clips on YouTube of the late comedian Mitch Hedberg, where he was bombing, and he seemed to be having more fun bombing than he did when his stuff was hitting. And he would tell a joke that clearly nobody got, or it just wasn't funny, but he made it. But his response to it made it funny, and there was something genuine about it, and the crowd did respond, even though they didn't laugh at the joke. His response to that, and almost kind of acknowledging to the crowd that, okay, that wasn't very good, kind of started to get the crowd to turn towards him a little more. And like I said, it's comedy, it's not music, but I think the same principle, exists. Hey, sometimes being real on stage, whether you're playing music or telling a joke, is enough to kind of endear yourself to the audience and maybe get them to come around.
Yeah, there is authenticity.
One thing comes to mind when you say that, just specifically a high risk, high reward play that I sometimes use. I have in my toolbox. Early on into the show, if I hand people a sing along and they don't sing along, but I'm confident it's not because they don't know the song, it's just because they're nervous or it's early in the night or whatever. But it's not because they don't know the words. Sometimes I'll pull it out where I toss it off to them and they sing either not at all, but it has to be comically terrible. Like, it can't be kind of mediocre. It has to be like comically bad. And I will just flat out call it and be like, that was awful. I will just flat out call it out awful. It only works if it's comically bad. If it's only kind of bad, or like something that I feel I could build upon, like not just one person singing half of it, it can work against you, because then it's like, oh, well, fuck you, man. That wasn't good enough. Okay, well, we're not going to sing anymore, But if it's at a level that nobody in their right mind would argue, yeah, okay, we can try that again. Sometimes I've seen it, people be like, okay, like, wow, he's actually holding us to it. All right, yeah. And sometimes more often than not, I use it obviously because it works more often than not. But it does have to be a very specific situation, because if you use it at the wrong time, you just look like a jackass. And we're just trying to entertain these people at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think if you just keep it, like I said earlier, just keep it all, as lighthearted. And that's as hard to it still rattles me. Yeah, if like I do something, and then like leave a blank space in the song and no one sings anything, I'm like, well, shit. Like I don't know what it's still hard to like pivot really quickly from that and try and, keep it light and funny. But yeah, I mean, being authentic, being personable, being, like you said, Sam, like I'm just a guy up here playing, like we're here together. Let's just have fun like that. That can be the simplest way to find a common place to meet with the crowd. So.
Correct. Now, I don't want my words to be misconstrued. I'm saying that in the rare, like if something doesn't go according to plan, don't take yourself too seriously. That should not be used as a blanket statement to play songs like a hack or make mistakes that you shouldn't make and be like, oh, nobody cares, let's not take this seriously. Because at the end of the day, you still do want to impress them. Like, we want the audience to be impressed, at least, and not not impressed. You know, that's the thing too. You want them to like. I'm not trying to impress you. I want you to just be impressed because of the skill that I have, not because I'm actively trying to. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, Craig and I played this past week at a retirement community. And what would you say the average age in there was, Greg?
75.
You think 75? And like,
no, maybe a little lower.
maybe
but
yeah, it's just 70, something like that. But like any time that we did ask them to sing, they all sang, and it did sound just like the congregation of my Presbyterian church growing up. But just like this girl, it was more, just like that. It was more of a.
I love that version.
It was like a listening room experience, and yeah, like the music. I felt like, at least, I was like, wow, they are really gonna notice, like, whatever I mess up, they're gonna notice. So, you know, it kind of had a different feel like that. It was, you know, in like a rowdy bar setting, you know, you can get away with, you know, a misnote here or there, but like with that one, I was like, wow, I gotta really lock in and make sure these songs, you know, sound like they remember them. So. But Craig and I got a standing ovation at the end, so it was all we nailed it, I guess.
And that's saying a lot in that age range.
Yeah,
a lot more effort.
Should they be standing? Is it recommended? I'm just, I don't know.
That means about twice as much as it does from.
That's right. They were into you guys. Wow. I guess I never understood the concept of and yeah, we won't mention names, but that concept of it's got to be either or. You know, you can't. Well, you can't really focus on the music if you're trying to visually entertain somebody, and I guess I never understood that concept. Why can't you have both? You know, I honestly, I think it's in a lot of instances that I've heard that's just kind of to me it feels like an excuse to not be conscientious of the music, you know, to not put in the work, put in the time to make sure that you sound good as well as looking good. That concept just seems so foreign to me because I mean you're playing music.
We are
at the end of the day. You're playing a song. Yeah. You know, the people didn't request a bit; they requested a song.
Correct. And there's something.
Yeah.
Sorry, not to cut you off.
No, please go ahead.
There's some like. Because I know there's different philosophies that people have about practicing off stage. I know there's some performers that they never practice, and there's some performers that swear by it. Now, I'm not gonna weigh in on if you should or if you shouldn't. I mean, if it's a skill you're trying to build, like if you're trying to get better at saxophone and you're not ready to play it on stage, obviously you need to practice that off stage. Like, I feel like there's some cut and dries on these, but it also comes down to how you perform because I don't exactly practice, quote unquote. Like I play off stage a lot just because I enjoy playing. But I don't sit down and drill one thing. I just simply play what I enjoy playing. And I wouldn't call that I play a lot. I've gotten better by not practicing, but all that to say, I feel like it's the way that you play. That's playing can become practice if you're like on your own toes. If you make a mistake and you take it seriously to the point that you don't make that mistake again. Whereas if you're the kind of person that if you play and it's all whatever, it's all, you know, who cares, you're not going to get any better because you're never holding yourself accountable for the mistakes you are currently making, so you're going to continue to make them.
Yeah, and regardless of whether you're practicing or you're you know, doing what you had talked about, the end result is the same.
Exactly.
It's going to make you sound better.
And the same thing too. I mean, people can quote unquote practice, but if you practice wrong or you make mistakes while you practice and you don't fix them, same thing happens. So yeah, sure. I guess regardless of whether you're practicing or not, that philosophy of do mistakes, not do they affect your show or affect you emotionally or whatever, but is a mistake a big enough deal to you that you don't make it again? Or isn't it? That's the deciding factor of whether you get better or whether you stay exactly the same. And we all know performers who they're the same or worse. And that's another thing too, is you can let yourself backslide, because if you used to play this one part perfectly and over the years it's degraded and you haven't held yourself to it, well, now you simply can't play that song anymore. You can't sing that song anymore. You can't XYZ. You let yourself slip over the years. Some people get better, some people get worse. I feel like, at least the way I see it, that's a huge driving factor as to why that happens.
Yeah, what's the Foo Fighters tune? We used to, you and I, Sam, we used to play it.
All My Life?
Yeah. Because when I first played that, oh boy, that was like falling off a log. I knew the song, but I never actually played it. I'm like, okay, I gotta get better at that.
That was me too, because the left hand and the singing,
yeah.
All my life I've been searching for something. That offbeat ostinato or whatever was weird for me at first.
Yeah, and so I listened to the tune and listened to how you played it and gradually got better. I don't know if I ever really nailed it as to what I would be happy with, but definitely saying that wasn't good enough. So I need to figure out how to do that. And rather than actually sitting down at a drum kit, because at the time I don't even think I had a drum kit at home. I was just tapping it out on my knees and listening to it and just familiarizing myself with the various parts of the song. And the next time we played it, it was much improved. It still wasn't where I wanted it to be, but it was better because I didn't want to make the same mistakes that I had made the first time I played it. And I knew all the mistakes I made.
And that's what separates the men from the boys.
I liked all the things that we talked about within that. We started with hot crowd versus cold crowd, into pacing, into listening entertainment versus visual entertainment. Importance of musical integrity. And I think, performers come in all shapes and sizes. There's some that are better on the musical side. There's some that are better on the entertainment side. And there's some that are able to do all of it. And those are the guys that make all the money. And then there's ending on practice. That just reminds me that those are things I have to practice more than I do. And I think even, I was thinking about this when you said it, practicing performing. Like, have you ever filmed yourself practicing a bit at home and then watching it and seeing how it comes across, seeing how your tempo is? Because I know for me, when I get into a more in the moment type thing where I'm trying to pull something off, I start talking really fast to the detriment of what I'm trying to do. So this is something I just thought about that could be helpful for me to film myself trying a bit and trying to get the timing right, making sure I'm not moving too fast.
100%. I've never done it, I guess, with no audience at home, but I have definitely filmed both myself and other players doing bits to see responses. I do think it's valuable.
Let me ask you guys this. This is a question for all three of you. What do you think? What do you think would be a positive takeaway? Let's just say, because I know it's happened before, where just the whole night goes through and the crowd just isn't there. What can you take away from that, or what have you taken away from that? Is there anything positive in that outside of maybe? Well, I know what not to do next time. Are there positives that you can take away from a night that just went to shit?
Who wants to take that first?
Go for it, Craig.
I mean, my inclination is no, there aren't any, but there must be some silver lining.
Tough to answer on the spot, I guess. So. Maybe
it's risk taking. Maybe I feel like it lessens the pressure maybe a little bit, and you kind of go, well, if you guys are just not into it, I'm just gonna have fun or something. Maybe. Yeah.
I guess it depends on. I've had very few nights, thankfully, that I feel like went to like just complete shit where I felt like there was nothing salvageable about it or no positive side to it. But I would say, I mean, if you're playing solo, that's a tough bullet to bite because it's just you all by your lonesome watching the clock tick. But I mean, if you have anybody else, that's just a time where you guys can, it's just paid practice at that point. You guys can run some stuff that you wouldn't normally run and see how it goes. But I mean, even nights, that's one thing that I did enjoy back in the day, is kind of, we would talk at the end of all the shows and talk about what went right and what went wrong and why it went wrong. Like if it was our fault, if it was something we felt we could have done differently, or if it was kind of just something that was out of our control. And so I just feel like even if your night goes bad, there's always value out of it, whether it is, what do we do next time to not make this happen? Or if it does happen, again, I mean, then you learn something else that way. I mean, every crowd's different, you know what I mean? You very, very rarely, if it's a crappy night because you had 3 people, there's not much you can do about that.
Not much you can do about that.
Get more people in.
I definitely, a bad night tends to lead me towards blaming myself in some ways. It causes me to think back on a bad song choice or a song that I, was kind of trying for the first time that I know just didn't sound very good, or, a time when I was playing something in a, big table of people, got up and walked out, like, which has happened. So it's, I would use it in some ways as a learning experience, and I would also, continue to work on trying not to be so hard on myself about nights that I feel like I've made a mistake or something, and just recognize that some nights are just what they are, and if someone looked up and smiled, or you could tell they were enjoying a song in a moment or something, then I can look back on those moments and try and find some piece of success in it. But
I think it makes you evaluate. Like it's a, I feel like I've been using this term a lot lately, like sort of recalibrate. You can kind of go, okay, all right, just when I thought I had it all figured out, maybe I'm to, like, let's rule myself out or do some introspection and go, okay, what could I have done better? It's a great learning opportunity, that's for sure.
Yeah, I now this is not from a player standpoint, but I had similar issues because, of course, what I did most at the club was run sound, and some nights it just sounded terrible, and I could it was great last night, and it sounds awful tonight, and it's I don't know why. Well, I mean, there are reasons why, but and it just, for a while it frustrated me, and then I realized it's like, well, some of those things are out of my control. So I'm not going to overanalyze it, because I'll probably go back the next weekend and it'll sound fine, and then of course the next night it'll sound like shit again. And I guess maybe what I can take away from it is to not dissect it too much, because those things happen, just like a bad crowd will happen. And like you said, Sam, if there's only 8 people in the crowd, well, there's nothing you can do about that. It's not like it's not your fault necessarily, and so you don't want to beat yourself up over that. So That would be my take on it.
I was thinking too. I mean, we could talk all night about this, but maybe the topic of like hecklers and I've certainly, I'm sure we've probably seen our share of performers like just outright berate a crowd. I played a gig once with a guy and he just got pissed off at this big group, like front and center, big group of, I think it was maybe a bachelorette party or something, 20 girls or something, and he, for whatever reason, they just pissed him. I think like half of them got up during his song to go to the bathroom or whatever. Like, I don't think it was anything related to what he was playing, but he just he took it personally and just laid into them, just berated them.
Well, that's not a guarantee not to get them on.
And
your
they
side.
left. They left. It's like, wow,
Surprising.
dude, you showed them. But some people will just and I think the point was that he would rather them have fully left. He, in his mind. But that was hard to be a part of it. I'm on stage just going, just keep smiling.
Yeah, that is a tough one when your partner's going rogue and hey, I'm not with him.
That's right. I know. You're like,
I know. Your song coming up next.
Not necessarily
Yeah. I've definitely been on stage with a partner that has come, for the crowd in a distasteful way, but I do very much respect the skill set of, there's this one performer, I got to give him a shout out at Pete's. He plays Pete's Fort Worth, Josh D. And he has this insane skill set. I watched him do a bit and he was doing a guy and a girl bit. I forget what the bit was, but he needed this guy to do a lot of things. And from the start, the guy was not participating very well. The way that he handled him with jabs that were like enough to get him on the program, but every time that he came for this guy, it was in a comedic way that the crowd got even more on his side. And just his timing, like he's definitely a more personality forward performer as opposed to music forward performer, killer bass player. But just I respect that skill set, the ability to be able to stick it to somebody who's being like, it's just a skill set I don't have. Like if people are not participating on stage, I don't have the depth of jokes to get the guy to still do it and get the crowd on my side and keep it funny and keep it still going and save the bit. I'm kind of like, if the dude's really being that big of a problem, I'll get a bouncer up there. I don't care, like. So I mean, that's a weakness in my show. Sure, is like I don't have that depth. I lean more into music. That's my own. Maybe that's me coping. I don't know, but I just respect that skill set. Just being able to berate a crowd in a tasteful way. I guess.
I agree 100%. That's it's impressive to watch.
You got to be likable with it. That is a skill set that is not something that I would try or get away with if I did. That is actually pretty impressive when you can kind of berate, I don't know, not the crowd in general, but maybe an individual or something without it being real heavy. That's a skill.
Yeah, and for it not to come off distasteful, like he doesn't go to a racial place or anything that's like divisive. It's very funny, but it is still at the point like really I feel like even if I delivered the same lines, they wouldn't land. It's to that point that there's an X factor that I can't put into words because I know so little about it. I don't know what I don't know about it.
Once again, I think we've solved all issues. I think we've.
Yeah, I feel like any musician listening should have zero problems entertaining any crowd of any size.
Yes,
moving forward.
There you go. All the tools.
That's right. We are batting 1,000. My God.
Every week we solve a new massive problem. It's incredible.
Yeah, I like I said, I can't imagine why more people aren't listening because, good Lord, we We're tackling the problems of the day and finding solutions.
Yeah, that's right.
Tune in next week where we take on foreign policy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will definitely do that.
There's not much there, though. I don't know if it'll fill out a whole episode. There's not a whole lot there.
It's too easy.
No, I don't think we're going to do that. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean-
Craig, real quick, Sting was born in Wellsend, Northumberland, England. So no, he is not
Okay.
Welsh.
I did
He's
look
not
that
Welsh.
up today. I did. I meant to. Yeah, I did.
I thought about looking it up. Did not.
Craig's like, I'll let them do it.
But if he ever hears
They'll correct
if he ever
me.
hears that you called him Welsh, there might be a problem.
Yeah, because I think the Welsh kind of are the butt of a lot of UK humor. I think I don't know why, but it's kind of like rednecks in America. I think that's kind of what the Welsh are to Britain.
I know
Yeah,
exactly.
you know,
Well, there goes all our Welsh audience.
yeah, I got a big lesson. I was out in Europe to about almost 2 years ago now, and there's no such thing as a British accent, I guess.
Really?
There's a such thing as an English accent, but British or the, like Britain technically includes, I'm probably going to butcher this, I hope not, but I think the Brits say it includes Ireland. Ireland says it does not, and that's a very big contested thing.
Yeah.
And
Isn't
then
that kind of the same thing with Scotland?
Yeah, with Scotland as well. So they're like, no, I'm not British. Well, I mean, they are technically, quote unquote, part of Great Britain, the whole thing. But the UK or England is the English accent that we imitate. Because when you say a British accent, that technically includes Scottish and Wales, I guess.
Yeah.
So, yeah, me being the stupid American tourist over there, showing everybody my British accent, even though they're like, that doesn't even frickin' exist. Shows how much you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's like 20 different accents too. It's really bizarre.
Yeah, they live miles away and they're sworn enemies.
Well, hey, gotta have something to do, I guess.
Yeah.
Sam, appreciate you coming on, man. It was it's always good to talk to you, and
Yeah, great talking to you, Sam.
it's really, yeah.
really enjoyed what you added to the show. It's been too long, so thank you for coming on, and thank everybody for listening. We are on YouTube and Spotify, and so on YouTube, just hit the subscribe button. On Spotify, hit the follow button. Share the show if you like it, and leave us a comment, all that good stuff, and we would greatly appreciate it. So, for myself, Eric Forbes, and Craig Hendry, we'll catch you next time.